Hello, 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 and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be getting into a very, very deep topic today. Before I get started, as always, I'm going to ask that you all would share this topic. This is a very important topic. As a matter of fact, I may have to break this up into several videos because what I'm going to be sharing is very, very deep. I think the world has successfully oversimplified things as it relates to what has happened with the Black community. I believe that it is drastically oversimplified, but we are going to get into this today because there's something far deeper going on than what your mind can focus on. So while I share this, I'm going to ask that you all share it as well. All right. Thanks to everyone who is joining us live this morning in the chat. As I share this, I want you all to share it as well. And those of you who are going to watch this back on the replay, that's fine as well. I want you to share it too. Alrighty, so now that I've shared it, I'm going to get into this topic. And again, we are going to break this down possibly into several different videos. Okay. Todaya. So when I look at the state of the Black community, we are in crisis, both natural and spiritual. Both natural and spiritual. From time to time, I am going to look at the chat comments. One that just jumped out at me right away is Isaiah. She says that she is a young Israelite of 22 years old and she is very grieved. So hopefully I can bring you some level of understanding and comfort as I speak on this topic. But there is indeed, look at the title here, a satanic plot to destroy and kill the Black woman, right? And I will say this too, I will not tolerate interruptions in the chat from men who don't understand why I'm talking about the things I'm talking about, those who want to whine about nothing. We don't have time for that. It's too late in the evening in terms of the time that we're living in. There was an old Christian song that says it's getting late in the evening, the sun is going down. It was talking about the end times. It wasn't talking about the actual day. So I want to talk about this satanic plot to destroy Black women. And there are so many elements. And I want to start off by saying that with all of these different plots, it leads back to some very serious facts. Okay. Maybe not in this particular broadcast, but I want to talk about the chosen seed. The fact that the chosen seed can only come from a Black woman. Okay. I want to talk about what's going on in the medical industry. I want to talk about what's going on in the hood. I want to talk about what's going on with our Black men concerning Black women. And I also want to talk about our Black women concerning Black women. I want to talk about the Asian woman, the white man, everyone in the world concerning the Black woman. That's why I say this is a lot deeper than your mind can comprehend. A lot deeper than any of our minds can comprehend. Had to get a quick sip. Okay, family. So we are going to get into this. And hopefully we can get an understanding of what Satan is doing. This is why I said there is a satanic plot. Okay, a satanic plot to destroy the Black woman. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is something that jumped out at me right away. I shared a video on my channel yesterday. And in sharing that video, something was very, very, very clear to me as we watched it. It was a testimony of a young black woman, and the testimony was very deep. Okay, those of you who identify as so-called Hebrew Israelites, you need to get past the fact that she is a Christian, the woman giving the testimony. Okay. Get past that. Her testimony is powerful. I think sometimes these religious zealots miss the whole message because they focus on the wrong things. She had a very, very, very powerful testimony. As a matter of fact, I think I want to go ahead and just show it on the screen so that those of you who haven't seen it can go at a later time and listen to her testimony in its entirety. Okay? Listen to it in its entirety because it is a very, very deep testimony. And I'm going to focus on one particular part at this moment as to what happened to this woman in her testimony. I want to focus on this so you all will see that it actually lines up. It actually lines up with what we see happening to black women in general, and it also lines up with Satan's agenda to X out the chosen seed. That's another topic I'm going to speak on. So let me just show you this video, the screenshot of this video really quick here so that you can go back and look at it at a later time. Here is the video. Okay. And this woman, she shares a testimony. The video is titled Woman Dies During Labor and Goes to Heaven. Okay. It's on All Things Millennial channel. And she outlines in her testimony what happened with all of her children during their births. She even talks about how when she would go and have her children, that the doctor was always telling her that her body was not made for giving birth. Okay, that's a very, very significant point. Very, very significant point that needs to be made. They kept telling her that her body is not made to give birth to babies, right? She's gonna share her testimony of what happened with her first child, how the doctor told her to abort the child and that they would do it for free when she was a few months pregnant. Okay, they said the child was going to be retarded. The child was going to be all kinds of things, deformed or just different things like that. You'll hear exactly what they said about the child in the testimony. She said, "No, I'm not doing that." Now she is a married woman. Okay. She said, "No, we're not going to get rid of our child, right?" The child was born normal, despite them telling her that the child was going to be disabled and going to need 24-hour care. They said all of these things was going to happen to this child. Child is normal, 21 years old now, very successful life, but yet the doctor told her to get rid of it and we will do it for free. Then she goes on to share some of her other testimonies, right? And the last testimony she shared is when she literally died in the hospital. But the part I want to focus on in her dying in the hospital during childbirth. Listen to this, family. They were giving her an epidural. And you all know what that's for. And in the process of giving her the epidural, she told the nurse, she says, "You're giving me too much. You're putting too much in me." And the nurse was like, no, I'm not, you're fine. I'm not giving you too much. You're fine, right? And she kept insisting that you are giving me too much. And the nurse kept insisting that she was not giving her too much. So what ended up happening, to make a long story short, I want you to hear the full testimony yourself, but to make a long story short, This woman died on the table. Before she passed away, she said she felt herself slipping away. She felt herself slipping away. Now, keep in mind that she told the nurse that you are putting too much of that medication in me. She said something was starting to happen in her legs that she wasn't supposed to feel. She said something strange was happening in her body, and she told the woman that you're giving me too much. And the woman insisted that she was not. Long story short, she said to her husband, she says, if I don't make it, I want you to know that I love you and I love the children. She said, I want you to know that I love you and I love the children. So, I felt like in that moment, I felt like in that moment that they were trying to kill that woman with a smile on their face. Now, I'm not going to tell you her death experience. I want you to watch the video for that. Watch the video. Chris G says the nurse was attempting to delete her. Also, Chris G says, I was told that about my last child when I was 42. They wanted me to have amnio, and I said no. My husband was scared. I still said no. My child is now is about to turn 23 years old. Van Life with Energy says they told her that her daughter would have brain damage and spinal bifida, but she didn't. She's normal. She was a normal birth, and she's now 34 years old. So listen. Monster Criley says she almost died 2 times with her last 2. Okay. Let me say this as well. I've shared my testimony as well. When I was giving birth to my daughter Sophia, how I literally felt like that doctor was trying to kill me and my daughter. Okay. I've shared that testimony before. And it was something very demonic in her eyes. I remember when she yelled at me as she was hurting me. And she yelled in such a way and says, Tamiko, I'm not going to let you hurt me. That's literally how she sounded. And of course, you know, it was a white female doctor. It had gotten to the point she was hurting me so bad that a white male doctor came in after she left the room because he was there, she was there, and of course my husband was there. But after she left the room, this white male doctor came back in. He says, I am not going to let her hurt you anymore. And he took over from that point. And so these things that are happening to black women in hospitals is part of a satanic plot to destroy and kill black women. Now, Love says, Love in the chat says, wow, they should be put in prison for attempted murder and distress. Now, see, that's not going to happen because they are a part of an order, okay? They are a part of a system that wants to destroy the seed, the chosen seed. That's another video I'm going to cover at another time, right? But there is a plot to destroy the black woman because, again, the chosen seed can only come through the black woman. Another topic, another time, right? Now, this right here is a plan that is so diabolical that so many fiery darts have been thrown at us, right? And we don't know from what direction they're coming from because they are coming from many directions. Again, the satanic plot to destroy black women and kill them is not just coming from the medical establishment, but it's also coming from other directions as well. Listen to this, family. Listen to this. It's coming from the people of the world in general. Look at the tremendous tortures that so-called black women have to endure at the hands of people globally. At the hands of people globally. They make every attempt to try to destroy black women. This is why the black woman's seed was infiltrated by all of these other racial groups. That's right, Brother Derek Muhammad, spiritual wickedness in high places. The black woman's wound was infiltrated because there was an attempt to destroy and kill the black woman, because only she can give birth to the chosen seed. This is true. Only she can. And while we're so busy calling things a gender war, that's what I mean when I say deflection, oversimplifying, and just complete lack of spiritual discernment. To call it a gender war is ridiculous. This so-called gender war needs to be understood for what it truly is. It needs to be understood for what it truly is. It is a spiritual war, spiritual warfare. Guess who else is a part of the plot to destroy and kill black women? Black men. I'm going to say black dudes. I got to get that man part out of there. So-called black dudes. It is something very, very diabolical and demonic behind what is going on with black men and black women, which is why I say to call it simply a gender war is completely wrong. This so-called gender war is a spiritual war. And we have got to put on the whole armor of Yah. Now, Carl 777 asked, have I read the Willie Lynch letter? Yes, we put the whole Willie Lynch letter in the Whited Out documentary series. It is there. Specifically, I believe it's in Whited Out Part 5. But one thing we have to understand about the so-called Willie Lynch letter, okay? What we've got to understand about that so-called Willie Lynch letter is that these people who put that together, they operate under a certain type of demonic power, okay? They operate under a certain type of demonic power. This is not just something that they just came up with themselves. I'm going to take my eyes off the chat for a minute because I don't want to be distracted from what I need to say. Okay? I don't want to be distracted from what I need to say, but that letter was put together because they wanted to create the illusion of something, but that was their programming written into that letter. And where did they get the programming from? They probably got dictation directly from the devil, from satanic powers, because the goal was to destroy the black family structure. That has always been the goal. Because when you destroy the black family structure, you have the separation of the black male and the black female, because they two together, those two together, more specifically those of the tribes of Yisrael, the 12 tribes of Yisrael, those two together, coming together, creates the chosen seed. This is why I said I need to do a totally separate topic dealing with the chosen seed. But biblically speaking, those two together create the chosen seed. And so, of course, there is a whole other target on the black man's back. Okay, there's a different target on the black woman's back. Both are targeted, but there are specific things done to each by these principalities and powers, right? This video is going to be focusing on the plot to destroy and kill black women and some of the methods that are being used. And I spoke to you about various experiences that black women have had in hospitals. So they say that black women are more likely to die during childbirth, right? I want y'all to understand something, okay? You have the enemy of Yah's people launching his attacks, right? And then you have the Most High who allows judgment. Now, these two are separate. The enemy's attacks happen, and they must happen because they were prophesied. So anything that is prophesied must come to pass, right? Once it's prophesied, it must come to pass. So you have all of these instances of tragedies that are happening that are driven by Satan. And then you have those that are driven by the Most High. But all of it is allowed by the Most High. Nothing can happen without his permission. Nothing can happen without his permission. Because his word has gone forth out of his mouth and it shall not return void. But here's the thing. When we see these satanic attacks, you have to understand how all of this stuff actually comes back together. It comes together. When we see satanic attacks, what are we supposed to do? I want to see if anyone in the chat knows what we are supposed to do when there are satanic attacks. What is it that we should be doing? Alfred K, I'm just going to ignore what you're saying right there. You can believe what you want to on that. But I want you all to answer, if you know the answer, what is it we are supposed to be doing if there are satanic attacks? That's right. Somalia says fight back, prayer, resist, intercession, fight, praying. So many different things. Pray without ceasing. Full armor. That's the one I was looking for, Somalia. Put on the full armor of Yah. Resist the devil and pray. Thank you to everyone who posts your answers. Stand, rebuke these demons. All of that. We are supposed to do all of that. But one answer sums it up. Kim C put it in there as well. Put on the full armor of Yah. That is what we are supposed to be doing. Armoring up. That's right, Yashin. Put on the whole armor of Yah. That is what we are supposed to be doing. Thank you, Nicole Cassidy. All of you for your answers. I appreciate it. But everything that was listed here are good answers. But it all gets fixed by putting on the whole armor of Yah, that you may be able to stand. So if you put on the whole armor and you are faced with the fact that there's a satanic plot to destroy and kill our people, period. With that whole armor, the Most High will show you how to navigate through these battles. He will show you how to fight in these battles. He will show you how to engage in these battles. See, but the problem is so many things are oversimplified. Oversimplified to the point where we don't even see it as a battle. This is why folk are calling it simply a gender war. Now, this thought came to my mind early this morning. I would say it was probably around 6:30. I don't remember exactly, but it was very early this morning. Okay. It came to my mind that these people, these other nations, these Gentiles, will try to destroy you with a smile on their face. Did y'all hear what I said? These other nations will try to destroy you with a smile on their faces. Yes. In other words, when you see that smile, and this just came to my mind too, the song that says, smiling faces tell lies. And I got proof. Even a handshake, y'all. Beware of the handshake. It has a snake. Come on now. Listen. That came to my mind earlier today, that they will try to do it with a smile on their faces. Let me tell y'all something about our people back in the day. Those songs, they used those songs to give out messages, tell you what's going on. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you another fiery dart or weapons of war against our people that have come forward. They said, okay, so they're preaching to each other through their songs. They're also loving each other through their songs. And so the satanic plot to destroy the black family structure said, this is what we got to do. We have to infiltrate their songs now. That older group that was telling them stories about smiling faces, we got to get rid of those songs. The ones that were telling you that behind that smile and that handshake is a snake. Yes. So many other songs. Can you all think of any songs that were telling us messages? That's right. All the while they want to take your place. Backstabbers. So when we think of backstabbers, of course, they come in every racial group, gender, all of that. But backstabbers are also those who will come to your land and they will get off the ship. And they will shake your hand. All the while, the plan is to take your land. When you all get a chance, there's a documentary called Stealing a Nation. They showed old footage of these European white males getting off of a ship, stepping onto this land for the first time. Okay? And when they stepped onto the land, they shook hands right away and they had smiles on their faces. And that was the last time our people saw freedom. They took that land from them and they utilized it for their own purpose. Now to Memphis mainstream media, okay, stop black man hate. We're going to deal with that a little bit later, okay? We're going to deal with that a little bit later because this video is not about that. Thank you to Monster Kylie, okay? Oh my goodness. I'm not going to tolerate. I'm going to keep my eye, and I want my moderators too. I'm not going to tolerate any whining in the chat. If you want to come whining about that stuff, you are going to be bounced out with the quickness. This is a message that I need to get out, and I don't need to be distracted by someone whining about black men hate. Especially over here, because that is not what we are talking about. Thank you, Monster Kylie. So simple-minded. Exactly. Exactly. Don't learn how to think from a spiritual standpoint. Because early on in this video, I did talk about the fact that there's going to be other videos where we're going to talk about how there was destruction of the black family, right? The destruction of the black family is to destroy our men and women. Okay? And there are different attacks that come against our men and different attacks that come against our women, right? But when you can divide the two, you have essentially wiped out the seed. And so this focus on the black woman in this particular video was going based on what black women experience when they go into these hospitals. That there is a plan not only to take or destroy their children when they are born, but also her. This is why When you look at the statistics, they say that black women die at higher frequency than any other racial group in in hospitals. In hospitals. Got to take a quick sip of water here. Okay. General Warman says he needs a wrench. I will keep you on notice. I do pay attention to what people post. And if at any time I want to pass out that wrench, I will keep your name in mind to General Warman. Yahuwah's treasure, I've seen you for a while. And I don't mind giving you a wrench. I have to see you for a while. To the person who asked for the wrench, I do have to see you for a while, and so I will keep my eyes out. I thank you very much for the offer, and it will definitely be something that I'm going to consider. So listen, getting back to a subject. Getting back to the subject at hand. Our black women are experiencing something in hospitals that they should not experience. Now, some of you may say that it is judgment. Yashin, I've seen you for years. There you are, family. I've seen you. You've been around for many years. But let me focus on what I'm trying to say here. When I shared the story, I wanted you all to see what happened in this woman's case because it was tripped out. When you get a moment, go to my channel and you will see the video that I shared yesterday. But this woman, I'm going to explain it again for those of you just arriving. She explained that as they were giving her an epidural, she told the nurse that she's putting too much medication in her. And the nurse kept saying, "No, I'm not. You're okay. You're okay." And she says, "No, you're putting too much medication in there." And the nurse, with a smile on her face, "No, you're okay." That's why I said something about the smile. Just because someone smiles at you doesn't mean that they are caring for you. And so she felt something happening in her body as this nurse was administering the drug for that epidural. She felt it. Whoever the person was administering her drugs to Maddie. Listen to her testimony. She said whoever was giving her drugs, maybe it was through her IV or whatever, but whoever was giving her the drugs, she said that she was giving her too much. And as she felt her body change, she said something happened in her legs. And she was telling the nurse, "This is too much." She told her husband right before she went under. She says, "If I don't make it, if I don't make it, tell the children that I love them and I love you too." Not too long after, she slipped away. Not too long after, she slipped away. She talked about what happened when she went on the other side. In her testimony, she said she was dead for 8 minutes. She was actually able to step out of her body and see them working on her. I've heard so many people share testimonies where they were in the hospital and they could see doctors working on them, giving them the shock thing to their chest, the electric shock. She saw when her doctor jumped on top of her and was pumping her chest, trying to get her back. Yes, she did come back to life, family. This is why her testimony is so very powerful. Her testimony is powerful. But I shared it because to think that whoever this was did it with a smile on their face. Sometimes they know what they're doing. Do any of you remember the story of the angel of death? They actually pegged this woman, this one white female nurse, as the angel of death. There was another one who was an Asian, or she was either Asian or from India. So there have been other cases where they've found evidence of these Gentile nurses who specifically targeted black people when they were in the hospital and intentionally took their lives. So how do we know that these other people, these other nurses, aren't doing it too? This is why it's a frightening situation for our people to go into hospitals. It's frightening. Some of these people will target anyone, but some will target specifically black bodies. Now, I remember there was a black female nurse years ago, and I've shared her testimony as well. I'm sorry, she was a black female doctor. She had noticed a lot of things that were happening in the hospital. And she and another colleague of hers, which was a doctor from, I believe, Pakistan or India, they were writing a book. And in the book, they were exposing some of the very intentional things that the industry was doing to black people. She was scared out of completing the book because they told her that book better disappear. She was writing this book, doing an expose about the industry that she was in as a black female doctor, and they told her the book better disappear. So there is a satanic plot to destroy and kill black women. And just so some of the brothers don't feel left out, I'm not saying that there's not one to kill black men, because it is. This particular video was to focus on the female black experience in hospitals. So they will try to give you statistics and say that the reason this is happening is because they don't eat as healthy as other people. That's a cotton picking lie as to the reason. It's a lot of people who don't eat healthy. So it's not the fact that they don't eat just as healthy. I believe that there is a push from within to make it happen. Putting too much in someone's IV. Forgetting to do this, forgetting to do that. When there's no one watching you, you don't know what people are doing. Because it's just too easy. These days especially. It's too easy. Now people say, someone said because black women are overweight. Okay, so I've seen a lot of overweight women, period, having babies. Okay? And so I'm not saying that couldn't be a reason, but I've also known of some very thin and fit women who have died during childbirth. There was a story shared years ago where a young woman, as a matter of fact, I believe she was the daughter-in-law of a famous judge, black judge, female judge. She was the daughter-in-law of a famous black female judge. Some of you all may be familiar with her story. Thank you, Victoria's Spirit. Thin black women are dying too. This is not an issue of overweight. I believe that, Judge Hatchett, exactly. I thought that was the name, but I wasn't for sure. But her daughter-in-law, her story was tragic. It was so sad. It was so very sad, where for hours she was in pain and she was telling them she was in pain. Her husband was telling them she was in pain, that something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. I'm in pain. I need help. I need help. I need help. And they continue to tell this woman They continued to tell this woman, oh, no, you're fine. They continued to tell her, no, you're fine. Needless to say, they didn't help her. They didn't tend to her. And she died. Let me see if I can find that for you all really quick here, because that was such a tragic thing that happened to this woman. It literally will have you in tears. And so many cases, so many other situations that have happened as well. I'm not saying that one outweighs the other. Hold on one second. I want you all to see this. Okay. Okay, there it is. Okay. So a lot of people have information up about this. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. So there is no end. Okay, I'll show this one right here. One second here. There is no end of people talking about this story, because that's how tragic it was and still is. This woman lost her life at an early age, young, and it did not have to happen. So I want to show you all this real quick. So I'm pulling it up. So there are a number of different, this is called Kyra's story. And so I'm going to pull this up and share the screen with you all right here. Okay. We pull that over so you can see it a lot better. All right. So, TV's Judge Hatchett shares personal tragedy to prevent nightmare for others. Okay, so that's Kyra right there. Here's another image of Kyra, and then she was gone. Okay, that's the story again, part one. And then she was gone. Okay. Then here's her husband right here. Judge Hatchett's son seeks justice after wife's tragic childbirth death. Okay. Want to make sure you all can see all of that. Okay. Pull it over just a little bit more. Okay. But now Judge Hatchett also talks about he butchered her. That's what she says in that one. Then she's gone, part two. Here's the family all together. Okay. Judge Hatchett right here on the left, her son, her grandchild, and Kyra. Her story was so tragic. Okay. So tragic. So I want you all to take a listen at the testimonies and the stories about Kyra's death. When you hear what they did to her, you will see that there is a satanic plot to destroy and kill black women, because they are the ones who give birth to the chosen seed. Bottom line. Like Jeremiah White says, they have viewed us as animals. They do. And they say that we feel no pain. And they also believe that when we talk about these things, that we're troublemakers. Thank you to Laura Nicole. She's pointing out one of the things that Kyra went through. She had blood in her catheter for hours. Her husband and she was trying to tell them, look, she needs help. 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 And they continued to say to her, oh, no, you're fine. Even almost as if to try to act as if she was trying to get preferential treatment. This is why you hear these stories. Some of you all want us. Yes, she was hemorrhaging. Exactly. You have some folk who want us to not talk about these things. But these things must be talked about. We need to understand the plot of the enemy against the chosen seed. And stop oversimplifying things by calling something a gender war. That's right, Maddie Nelson. Her vital signs were overlooked and she was bleeding. They knew all of this. Yeah, that part got me, Lauren, when she told her husband she was scared. And that was the last thing she said to him. I know, oh my goodness, you just brought that memory back. That right there, that really bothers you. And he was there helpless, unable to do anything. When she said she was scared, she probably felt her body dying at that moment. I'm going to just warn you all right now. When you watch the story, you will probably be in tears watching it. But sometimes we need to know and understand what our people are going through so we know. So we know how to fight this enemy. We need to know and understand. Her husband was helpless. He couldn't do anything, as these people, as Judge Hatchett put it, butchered her daughter-in-law. The baby survived, but the carrier of that seed passed away. This family is a part of the satanic plot. This is why I am always saying that we've got to put on the whole armor of Yah. Understand that the whole armor also includes weapons of warfare. This is why we are instructed to put on the whole armor. See, with the armor, not only can you block the advances of the enemy, but you can also fight back. Block and fight. That is what we must do. This is why we must put on the whole armor. Because the enemy throws fiery darts. He's going for the head too, y'all. Let me go ahead and say what I mean before somebody starts whining in the chat. You know that a head blow is a death blow. So this is why we have to put on the helmet of salvation. Because a head blow is a death blow. The breastplate of righteousness guards your heart. That's right. I am here says, come on, prayer warriors. That's right. We have got to be prayer warriors to the point where that is our weapon of choice. And also you have to use the word of the Most High. You have to use the word of the Most High. Speak the word of the Most High in season and out of season. If you even think a devil is lurking about, you speak the word of the Most High with power. The Most High's word is quick, strong, powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword. Speak his word in season and out of season. Tammy Jewell said, where can we go for medical help? I mean, see, that's one of those things. In the land of your captivity is some things are a trip. But let me tell you something. This is why we have to put our faith and trust in the Most High. We have some old history books. And they talked about how back during slavery days that we had natural healers. They were black. They were the real black doctors, right? Back in the day. And they knew and understood that a lot of sickness was demonic as well. Right? They knew that it was demonic. And so let me tell y'all what ended up happening. And I'm going to just simplify this story as quickly as I can. But back in the day, there were so many black natural healers that the slave masters used to go and take them out from among the slaves, because whenever the slaves would get sick, they would tend to the slaves, right? Our natural black healers. What they used to do, okay, is they would take those natural healers and they would say, oh, we want to hire you. And they would hire them for their service or for their use. There was even one story that this will anger you. But they actually forced this one black natural healing doctor during those times, those evil times. They hated black folk, but they had this one black doctor come and tend to one of these hateful men's wife. And their goal was, after she got better, after this doctor was done working on his wife, their goal was, okay, now that we're finished with you and we don't need you anymore, now we're going to kill you. I want to share that story with you all. I shared it years ago, but I want to get those books out and share some of those stories with you all. So after you're done using the person, now you want to kill them. That just blew my mind right there, y'all. This is the type of satanic, diabolical thing we are dealing with. This is why I continue to say, put on the whole armor of Yah, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, the devices, the wickedness. Deborah Beloved says, wickedness in high places. I want you all to understand what we are dealing with. We are dealing with something very satanic. We need to understand certain things ourselves too. Some of these other groups, they know and they understand. There's a group of Mennonites. We found out that they do some of everything. Mennonites are very similar to the Amish. But these Mennonites, they deal with all kinds of things. One woman, she deals with broken legs, broken arms, setting bones back in place, because some of them don't believe going to the hospitals either. Some of them don't believe, and these are white folk. They don't believe in it. And so they know how to take care of some of everything. Some major emergencies. We've gotten so tied up and tangled up and confused about so many things that we don't understand what we are supposed to be doing really. Mr. The Original School says the plot thickens and continues to heighten against our people. Yes, it does. But we have a solution right in our own hands. We're just not using it. We're becoming so engrafted into this system, believing this system and loving this system so much that we are playing right into their hands. Playing right into their hands. This is why I said we have sustained a head blow, family. Okay, this is not an attack on the black man. I want to say this. This is not an attack, but the head blow is because they know that a strong and powerful black man, and I'm not talking about just physical strength, I'm talking about spiritual strength as well. Spiritual strength. If you have a strong and powerful black man, and I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video on this, strong and powerful naturally and spiritually, then the enemy can hang it up. He can hang it up. But that's a part of the satanic plot to destroy the black man. And we're going to talk about that in another video. We're going to talk about the head blow. Because that is where it all began. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, family. I like what Carl 777 is saying here. Put together an intercession stream. Maybe we can all fast before. I like that. Let me try. I want to save that comment. I want to save that comment. You know how you all have, how they have what they call watch night prayer, you know, for their so-called New Year's. Okay. When I was a Christian, I remember we would do that too. Hold on one second. I'm sending myself an email on this here. One second. All right. So I'm done with that. But with that watch night prayer, I just wanted to make a note and send that email to myself. We would pray all night, y'all. All night long. All night long. Thank you to Kathy Jones. She said the book Medical Apartheid is a good resource. So, yes, this stuff is real, y'all. It is real. This stuff is happening. It is happening. It's not just happening to our black women. It's happening to even our black children, our black men, our old, our young. It is happening. It's very real. A very real threat. And what is the doctor's name? I forget this doctor's name, but he has a website. And he actually talks about these things on he's a white doctor as well. And he talks about the plan and the plot to kill black folk. He's a white doctor. And he is exposing what his own people have done and are doing. If we don't know that these things are happening, or we don't understand why they're happening, let me just put it that way, because we know they're happening. Some of our people don't understand. We have oversimplified and say, oh, they're doing it because we black. Oh my goodness. It's a lot deeper than that. It is thank you to Zion A. Natural News. That's what I was looking for. Zion A. Natural News. That is the website I was looking for. He does the same thing. He shares very valuable information that exposes what they are doing to so-called black folk. Health Ranger. They try to get our minds so tied up and tangled up with all this other foolishness and nonsense to where we don't even see that the enemy got weapons aimed at us all around on every corner. All kinds of stuff are pointed at you right now. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? J Math 1978 says MLK was killed in the hospital too. Yeah, the story came out about that the bullet did actually do it. They were saying. I mean, it took part. It was a part of it. Okay. But they were saying that there was things that they didn't do to try to save him in the hospital. This is sad, y'all. And sometimes they will do it with a smile on their faces. Someone say they heard that he was suffocated. Some of this stuff will bring y'all to tears, bring us to tears, family. But we need to know and understand who we are dealing with. And for those of you who are Gentiles and you're watching this, you have to understand that we have to talk about these things because the plot is against us. Okay? You all can watch, but you have to understand why we must talk about these things, because this is a very diabolical thing, and we are the subject of this thing. We are the targets. If you are someone who is a Gentile and you serve the Most High, don't get rattled when we talk about these things. These are very important topics that the Black community needs to be aware of. This is why there's this whole push, a whole push to silence the history of this country. Amazing Tribe says, you've been watching and listening since the beginnings. Remember, I was the original one who asked about getting a war wrench. Did you change your name, Amazing Tribe? Because I know some of the moderators we've had for years have changed their names, so I'm not familiar with who they are now. I'm not familiar with who some of them are now. I knew who they were when I first gave the wrench out, if you know what I mean. But some of them I'm not familiar with because they've changed the names on me. And so I can't see who they are. And some, because I know them personally, I know who they are, even though they changed their screen name. But anyway, family, I want us to be very, very vigilant in this hour, both naturally and spiritually. Okay? Naturally and spiritually. Now, Lashid, for you, she's been around for years. Now, I would be very comfortable making her a moderator. She has her own channel as well, you know. She's been around for a long time. So listen, y'all. Pay very close attention to what the enemy is doing. Very close attention, because this is nothing to be taken lightly. We cannot afford to take this stuff lightly. When I feel an urge to cry out to the Most High with tears, y'all, I go with it. I flow with it. Sometimes I'll even separate myself from the family. I may come to my studio. I might take a walk. I mean, there have been times where I would take a drive. Years ago, I would take a drive. But I decided that it's best for me to hang out at home when I have to go through those moments, if you know what I mean. You know. But when you feel that urge to cry before the Most High or cry out to Him, go with it. Many times the Ruach HaKodesh wants to come in and speak to you and say something to you, something very important that needs to be said. I need to take this call real quick. Hold on, family. We're expecting a delivery, and I need to let them know we're going to be here. Hold on one moment, family. Okay, family, I am back. Thank you all for your patience. That's right, Carl, 777. Warfare will increase, okay, when surrendering to the Most High Yah's laws. That is absolutely true. That is true. Okay? That is so very true. Keep that in mind. But don't be afraid of that. We've talked about that before. It's not something to be afraid of. If warfare will increase, and we have experienced that, there are things that we don't even talk about. The Most High has done some amazing things, some miracles, right? Some victories, some pulling down of strongholds. This is what happens, right? But we need to pray that the Most High will teach us how to engage in the spiritual battle. It's necessary. A lot of times our people think that if I just want to just be a regular person. No, we don't have time for that anymore. Some people want to just say, oh, I serve Yah, and that's it. They don't want the warfare. But what if the warfare comes to you? That's what our people don't get. It's already there. It is already there. This is why so much is happening with our people, because they are not engaging in the battle. The battle does not cease because you refuse to engage. It doesn't cease because you won't engage. And so this is why you see the enemy running amok in the black community, because our people don't realize. They don't realize that the battle continues on, even if you don't fight. But what's going on is you are losing. You are losing the battle because you are not fighting. You are losing it. This is why our young people, our young men, our young women are in the streets. Scripture even said that the young men would be like wild bulls in the streets. Wild bulls. Our young women are out here clanking about, filled with the wrong type of pride. Pride and self. Not understanding that there is a satanic plot to destroy them. Our men, our women, out of order. The whole head is sick. The whole body from head to toe. That is the proof that we are supposed to engage in this battle, but we simply are not doing it. But the battle is still coming to you, whether you like it or not. The battle is already here. Already here. Already in full force, family. I can't stress this enough. When you go to bed at night, understand that you are at battle. The enemy will come into your dreams. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The enemy will come into your dreams. Like someone said, Deborah R. says he'll come right to your front door. Right to your door. He won't just come to the door, family, but he will kick it in, kick the door down and come right on in, unless you put on the whole armor of Yah. And one of the main places he's attacking right now, hear me when I say this, he is attacking the mind. The mind is a very, very strong and powerful battlefield, but most people have given up. And so therefore the enemy has kicked down the door of your mind, and he has infiltrated your thoughts. And a lot of people have a legion that they are dealing with right now because they did not have on the helmet of salvation. But they allowed themselves to be infiltrated. This is why so much is going on, and we're trying to explain it with medical terms. We're trying to figure it out this way or that way. We want to say, oh, it's because these people are attacking us, or because it's that person doing this. No, it's because you don't have on the whole armor of Yah. Because guess what? They can't do anything to you if you are fully armed. They can't. That's why the scripture tells us that Satan goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. seeking whom you may devour. Love asks, how do you stop him from coming into your dreams? Because I only want my dreams to be between me and Yah. But every now and then the enemy sneaks in. How do you keep him out of your dreams? So one thing we do is we play our meditation some nights. When we don't play it all of the time, but we play our meditations when we sleep at night to feel the air. Or we'll play beautiful music to feel the air. But one thing I want you to understand is this. Sometimes the Most High will allow an enemy to do certain things to get you on the right path. Right? Because sometimes we want to live our day a certain way, but we want to be overshadowed by the peace of Yah. But what the Most High will allow, sometimes he will send hellhounds to get you on the right path. You understand what I'm saying? He will send hellhounds to get you on the right path. And then, of course, before you go to bed at night, one of the main things you want to do is pray. And you can even bind spirits. But guess what, though? I've had times where I've had certain dreams that were I know they were very demonic. One time it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning. The Most High woke me up after I had this dream, and I was praying in the spirit after the dream. So it's like even when we sleep, the Ruach HaKodesh doesn't sleep. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I had this very demonic dream, and the Ruach HaKodesh woke me up. When I woke up from the dream, I was praying in the spirit. Some of you all know what that means. And I was instructed by the Most High to go and anoint everybody in my house. This has happened on more than one occasion. And pray for everybody in my house. Because spirits will try to enter in. The battle don't stop. It continues on, and he will try to do whatever he can. And sometimes we have to get up and fight literally. We have to literally get up and fight. Because the enemy is always busy. And we have to stay one step ahead of him. That's right, Monster Kyra. That's right. You have to pray. We have to pray for our husbands, our children, our families. When these attacks happen, if you have an attack at night, just understand something. Just understand the Most High wants you to fight. That's why the scripture says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. Right? So how can you resist him if he isn't taunting you or coming after you? Because resist means to fight. Fight the devil and he will flee from you. So you don't go and pick a fight with the devil. That means he came for you. Right? He came for you and you had to fight. So fight him and he will run from you. He will flee from you. That's what that means. Anyway, family, I better go. I have some things I need to get into. I love you all and I thank you for spending the morning with me. I felt the need to get this portion of the message out. Yah willing, I will come before you again with some more on these topics. There are so many things that I have to talk about in regards to the satanic plot to destroy and kill black women. There are also topics that I need to speak about the satanic plot to destroy and kill our black men as well. Okay. For those of you who joined us late, I shared a story of what the hospitals are doing in trying to take the lives, or should I say not trying, but in many cases succeeding in taking the lives of black women when they go to have children, okay? And even our babies in these hospitals, right? And they will do it with a smile on their faces. They will do it with a smile on their faces. That's what we covered in this particular video. We are going to continue as Yah wills. So stay tuned, family. Thank you for joining me. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.